Oh, hello. Sir David the Bard. That camera. Allison, come here, will you please? That camera is really, I know what it is. It's Allison's fingerprints. Little girl.
Front door.
Oh, God. Get some paper, toilet paper, and wipe the lens of that camera off. Look at how blurry it is.
Okay.
Okay. I wonder how that happened, honey. Sir David the Bard here. I'm coming to you from the Boy Scouts of America national organization. There has been on CNN News today a article on the
Technical difficulty, guys. Bye.
I think I'm. No, it's not
Nope.
good. I should hire Alpha and Omega again. It didn't look very good still to me.
Maybe you're up too close
Well,
on the Zoom.
on the Zoom?
Yeah.
Okay, well. Did you put some dry on it?
And wet.
Well, I think that's better, don't you? And don't blow. I think it's better.
Okay.
Okay. Honey, the camera, you built, you've bent it down. You can't see, Sir Dave. Don't put your fingers in it again, okay? Okay, hold on. Am I there? A little higher, a little higher. Honey, don't screw with me going back and forth. Stop that.
An earthquake.
Okay, there you go. All right.
Bye.
Honey, shut my door, will you? Please.
To the curb.
Kick me to the curb. Okay. Honey, shut the door, please. Anyway, on with the show. The show must go on. There is now a article. CNN has done a big article on. I don't think it's the camera. I think it's my eyes. I think it's my damn eyes. I've noticed things are getting blurry. Things are getting blurry in the world. I thought it was the world. Everything was and now I'm starting to think, oh gosh, yeah, Mormon Church and the Boy Scouts. Now, you know, I was a Mormon for 50 plus years, and I went through the Boy Scout program. I never could understand why the Mormon Church couldn't come up with a young men's program, and they had to plagiarize the Boy Scouts of America. Well, it's the same as Joseph Smith. He couldn't come up with a Book of Mormon, so he just plagiarized it out of other articles. Anyway, I hated the Scouts. Now, I'm not ashamed to say that. I guess most boys like Boy Scouts. I didn't. I like girls. I didn't like boys. I'd go over to the Girl Scout camp. No problem. You know, build a fire over there, a few marshmallows, if you know what I mean. And just say to her, you know, would you mind roasting my hot dog? I'm not good at it. I love the Girl Scouts, but the Boy Scouts suck. Now, John Hunter, he's dead now, and he was my Boy Scout pack leader guy, you know, the ones that molest you. John didn't. John didn't. He was a decent man. He's the son of Howard W. Hunter, Howard B. Hunter, B. My Hunt. I don't know. I can't tell. You know, when they get old like that, they all look the same. But anyway, Howard Hunter's son, John, and he was my scout leader. Now, when we broke up, we used to have an organization. You call it now Young Men's and Young Women's. Back then, we called it MIA, the Mutual Improvement Association. And I was in that for like 4 years. And you can see it was not inspired and it did not work. Look at me. I wasn't mutually improved. Anyway, I liked the girls. I didn't like sitting in there tying knots and bows and arrows chasing you in the front yard of the church and ridiculous stuff. Build a fire. I kind of like just a thermostat. Just set it at 73, it builds its own fire and you're warm. I like sleeping in a bed, and most of the beds I've slept in do not have any bugs. They don't have roaches, mice, rats, iguanas. I mean, I like to sleep in a bed that I can be somewhat comfortable. Has a mattress, may not be a fancy bed, but has covers and I'm warm and whatever. To sleep out in the open with the scouts, I thought was the most stupid thing in the world because it was like going, bears, come and eat me. We had a bear eat a scout, a young man. God, it's been 2 or 3 years. I think it's still in court. The bear, they tried to get him to testify, and he goes, I didn't eat the kid. He was my friend. I don't know. But anyway, the kid got eaten, camping out with his parents. So I'm not a real camping buff. I went to the Philippines, and they sleep on the ground, and there's snakes, there's iguanas, and there's big mice and rats, and creatures I've never seen, and I don't want to see again. I don't want to sleep on the ground, folks. I like my bed right here, and it has a little, frame, and it holds it up, and I'll change the sheets on it once a year at least. I like a clean bed. Anyway, I didn't like scouting. And we used to have these scout activities. And that's like, we'd have a scoutorama. Everything's in an orama. It's kind of like diorama and chuckorama. What an orama is, I don't know. It could be an orama, rama, ding dong. It's an old song. Anyway, we would go and gather with other scout troops in the Mormon church. And we would build these rope bridges. Now, I haven't seen a rope bridge in 1,000 years. They had them maybe in Africa and other places. Why would a modern American boy want to know how to build a rope bridge? I didn't. I'm not an architect. I didn't see any reason for me to learn to build a rope bridge. So I'm over at the girls' part. The chuckle-rama and saying to the girls, do you want me to build a rope for you? I go, no. You know what I mean? I said, no. Anyway, I didn't like that shit. Then we would have a campfire contest. Now, I have to tell you, I know how to build a damn campfire. Let me tell you something. When I was in California growing up, I must have been 12, we had a whole bunch of wood in the backyard. And I thought, well, it'd be, rather than me having to lift it and move it somewhere, I'll just burn it. And so, back in those days, I didn't know how to really build a fire because I didn't pay attention in Scouts. So, hey, I think I know how to build a fire. I went and got a gallon of gasoline, and I poured it all over this wood pile. And then I stood back and I said, I think gasoline is pretty flammable. I don't think I want to be close to this when I put a match. I had some common sense. Well, it didn't last that long. The common sense very quickly left. So what I did is I had these wood matches, and I struck one of these wood matches, and then I launched it like a spaceship way up in the air, so it would give me time to run. I ran like hell. I must have been 10 miles away by the time that match hit the gasoline. It had a shock wave that nearly knocked me down and almost blew the furniture, the toys, all of our bikes and everything off the patio. I mean, it was like a sonic boom. And I said to myself, I don't need the Boy Scouts. I got me a fire going there. And that son of a bitch was raging. It looked like a forest fire instantly. I said, hey, you don't have to rub this and that. Just take a little lighter fluid or a little gasoline. You can get a fire going. So I didn't think the Boy Scouts was really giving me that much information. Well, John had a hard time, my scout leader, keeping me somewhat entertained. And I told him, I said, this sucks. I don't want bow and arrow practice. I really don't want to do any scuba diving. I don't like that because I can't breathe underwater. And, I don't want to do parachuting and flying. I don't want to build anything for a Duty to God award. I don't have any duty to God, and I'm not going to award him with anything. And, oh my God, they kept coming up with all kinds of, I can't remember now. They really get into Indian stuff. They really do. The Scouts love Indians. And they had these feathers, and you get up on the stage, and I don't know what we did. We walk around and, we had leather hanging off of us. We looked idiotic. But they would give us a badge. Now, a lot of human beings, it's interesting. If you give a human being a trophy, or you give them a plaque on the wall that says good human being or employee of the month, or you give them a patch, like a sergeant's patch, say, yes, sir. And people like patches. And you see these guys in the military, they have these little badges on, duty to duty. I don't know, but they got a million patches on there. Oh, yes, sir. He's a general 9-star. Well, is that better than a 1-star? I don't know. So anyway, they would give you these badges. Now, my mom, she wasn't a very good mom. I've got an article down there behind me there in my 2000 videos. I'm not going to belabor the point. But I work hard sometimes in Scout because when you're in a cult, you better do what the other people do or you're going to be an outsider. So I earned, I think, 1 or 2 merit badges. One was, not urinating outside of the toilet. That was a hard one for me to get. But anyway, I got these 2 patches. So I took them home to my mom and I said, could you sew these on? And she goes, no. God damn. You're supposed to be the mother. I know, but I don't like that shit. I don't know how to sew. So I got the sewing out. Now, again, I'm like 12 years old and a boy. And our dexterity, and of course the patch was on totally sideways. One was upside down. And when I went to, and I always had to wear my troop shirt, so I identified with the cult. And the other boys would look at me and go, your mom's an idiot. And I go, I know. So she can't sew her shit, can she? No, she can't. So anyway, we finally got an old truck, a federal truck. It was made of wood, so old. And our troop was going to fix it up. You got boys that think they're mechanics. And John Hunter was, an attorney in Ventura County, and he couldn't put a screw in a bedroom, if you know what I mean. Anyway, we bought this old truck, and us scouts on Tuesday night, MIA night, we'd go out there and work on the truck. Well, we got the damn thing running, and it didn't run very good, but it ran a little bit, and we drove it the first night to baptize. It was in the rain. Well, back in those days, now you kids are so young, you that are 50 and under, you don't know shit. Back in those days, we had what we used to call, not evaporative, we had windshield wipers, that not vapor, there's the dementia again. Anyway, we had wipers that were monitored by the suction of the engine, and I can't think of what the name of them was. Anyway, it'll come to me. So if you step on the gas hard, the wiper stops. You let off, it does that. There's a safety problem there, but back in those days, if you had a wiper, that was a good thing. Well, vacuum wipers, that's what it was. So if you sucked the vacuum away from the wiper, it would not go. So you couldn't floor it in the rain. You had to gently bring it up so the wiper would keep working. Well, the vacuum hoses were all broken on this truck, and the wipers wouldn't work. So we had to cut a hole in the top of the truck. And one of the scouts had to stand out there moving the wiper back and forth because, it wouldn't work on the windshield. And I looked at that kind of activity and I thought, well, yeah, it's fun, but it's not very useful. I don't see too many people standing outside the trucks and the cars working their own wipers. And so the activities we did were shit. I just didn't like them. I didn't like floating in a canoe. God dang, that thing will turn over, and you better be able to swim. And, when it was rock climbing, now, boy, there's a sport for intelligent people. You don't want to get hurt, you can climb right up the side of a mountain with no rope. And when you fall off and hit the ground, just smile and get a merit badge. None of that interested me. None of it. And so anyway, I rejected the Scouts, and then I rejected the Mormon Church 50 years later. Well, I have down below a link, and in some ways, it's sad. In most ways. In fact, you know what? It's sad. It's sad. It's the boys in the Boy Scouts who like that shit, and they trusted the leaders, and the leaders molested them. The leaders took their clothes off of them, made them do blowjobs. The leaders, sodomy, sticking stuff up their butts and whatever. And these little Mormon boys in Scouts were scared to death, were crying. They didn't know who to report it to. And of course, the Scout leaders, I mean, my Scout leader is the son of the prophet. You don't complain about John Hunter. There was nothing to complain about, John. I liked him. But there was nothing to complain about, and if you did not, his dad was the prophet of the church, they'd give you a merit badge and your balls on your sleeve, I didn't want that either. So anyway, it's a sad link, but it shows the attitude of the Mormon church and shows a long history of the Mormon church. That I got a video way back, that my sister, Debbie, was molested by my father, who was the Sunday school superintendent of the Mormon church, and Debbie reported it, my mother reported it, I reported it, we reported to the bishop and the stake president. The Mormon church did absolutely nothing. They promoted my father to be a high priest after he molested her. There's a long history and a long pedigree of not doing anything and putting it under the carpet. And take a look at this video down below that the Mormon church got involved, and the bishop who put this pedophile in charge of the Boy Scouts, he has a few things to say, and he's remorseful and regrets that he had no inspiration and no discretion, ability for keeping the boys safe. So anyway, I just wanted to let you know that the Bard ain't no scout. and I don't want to be. And that's one reason I didn't want to go into service either, because Boy Scouts in service, there's a lot of badges and this kind of stuff, and anyway. Please, have health and enable marrow on the bone, strength and loins, and you power and priesthood be upon me and upon my posterity through all generations of time and throughout all eternity. That's the name of the second token of the Melchizedek priesthood, the patriarchal grip, or sure sign of the nail. And before divulging any of these signs, tokens, and symbols, I would rather have my life to be taken. Cut my heart out, cut my stomach out. And then you can give me the Pele and the ale 3 times. Oh God, hear the words of my mouth. That's the true order of prayer. So, you want to know what Mormon Boy Scouting was like? I was so obnoxious, I didn't get molested, thank goodness. But when you're not obnoxious and you just say, I'm going to bow my head and say yes, look at how these little boys were treated in the Mormon church. This bar's gone.